Welcome back.
It's Christine.
And Jamie.
We are here with Books and Booze, and I'm excited about episode 3 because we are on to chapters 19 to 24.
And things are getting more exciting, and they just keep getting more exciting after.
Because when we're done these chapters, we are more than halfway through the book.
Mm-hmm. I forgot that it's actually not that long of a book for so much that happens in it. When I was kind of got to this point, I was like, oh, there's still so much more that happens. I was like, I just didn't realize it was only this many pages. And yeah, get excited.
If you haven't read the book, if you are new to read the book, or if you are rereading the book, it's surprising how much happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like when this story ends, it's like, how did we get here? So
yes.
I'm really excited too.
And if you have read it, or even when you finish this whole thing, highly recommend rereading it. It's almost more exciting the second time around.
I think so too. There's a lot of tidbits along the way that you forget to pick up on, but that's like any book. Like you don't realize the details, and you see a lot more. So, you know what? Today is my drink.
Mm-hmm.
Today is my drink. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was my, I don't know what to call it. I want to say unhinged thought process when I was thinking of what drink to make. And this wasn't in reference necessarily to today's drink, but we said this from the beginning, like, we are not experts in drink making. Like, this is new.
Absolutely not. I can't even make a crushed ice drink.
If I ever have alcohol, it's usually wine or beer, which is super simple, right? So, like, cocktail making is so new. But now that we're into this and we are sort of planning ahead and figuring out what would be a good drink for these chapters, and, you know, maybe we can connect the cocktail to the book.
Which I have had, like, our friend Katie, she's made me a fancy drink, and there was, like, egg in it or something.
What?
Yeah. I can't remember what it was, but it was so good. And, like, her and her partner do that sometimes, and I'm like, oh, it always looks so interesting. Also a lot of effort when I'm like, a glass of wine looks great.
I've never appreciated it, and you know what, now I feel like once I get hooked on something, it becomes a train. And today my drink is connected to something that happens in these chapters, so then I'm like, okay, the next chapters that happen. I was thinking of the episode next, not the next one, but the next one after, where it's my turn to make a drink, and I was trying to think about it. In those chapters, there's nothing very obvious that connects the story to a drink. So just to clue you in on today, there is a fire night. So my drink is because it has Fireball in it. Easy connection. But the chapters that I was thinking of, this is my thought process. Okay, Feyre is, on a journey. She's going somewhere. What can I do? Okay, there's grass. Can I do a drink with grass?
I had a lettuce cocktail one time, and it was delicious.
What?
It was called lettuce something, and yeah, it was great.
I say unhinged, but this might just be normal for people who are into mixology. And I'm like, maybe, you know what, there's a rock cave thing, or rock wall. Can we do rocks? And then I was like, there's a war. They started talking about the war again. I was like, could we crush gunpowder into a drink?
That sounds dangerous.
And then, no, I don't know. I laughed at myself because I was like, it's too much. Like,
just keep it simple.
But I came up with something, and you'll have to see what it is. Is it as cool as gunpowder? No.
Probably cooler. Really.
What if I take my shoe and I stir it into the drink? No. I don't know what I thought of that.
Too much.
Too far. Today, we're going to talk about Fire Night, and that's not spoiling it because we're literally going to talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
But Fire Night, Fireball.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a drink called Apple Pie on the Rocks. So we have vodka, we have Fireball, we have apple cider, we have cinnamon, and a little bit of vanilla extract. If you are wanting to do it right, you would do vanilla vodka, but I didn't do it right.
That's fine.
I did some brown sugar on the rim. We did a cinnamon stick in it. Like,
It's really like fall-y also.
I want to pat myself on the back here because comparing it to my
Your last
budget Stanley Tucci Paloma, I am
big step up.
I'm proud of myself.
You should be. We will see what it tastes like.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna wait till we are recording to taste it, which we didn't do before, which seems very obvious.
Yeah.
But we're waiting to taste it, but also seems something you shouldn't do if you were a proper mixologist.
Which we are not, so we're just
taste it before you serve it to other people. But here we are. Let's go.
I'm unsure.
I feel like our ice melted.
Yep. You know what's saving it is I have the sugar one around the rim.
Oh.
And yeah.
Give me yours.
I have the one that we took the photo of, so it has the brown sugar around the rim. And
if you're making this, do the brown sugar around the rim because
without it
feels a little flat if you don't do that. But because we took time to take a picture of our drink, the drink has now gone room temperature.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You need it cold.
Agreed. I think if it's cold, it wouldn't be that bad.
If this was cold, I think it would be a good sip drink.
Yeah. It would be a good, like, Thanksgiving drink.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
So not against it.
Look, it's not bad, but it's not, I'm not... Would you bring it back at Thanksgiving?
No.
Damn it.
I would have to try it cold. I don't know. The sugar really helps.
It really does.
Yeah. Okay, it does kind of have like an appley juice.
I used apple cider instead of apple juice. Do you think that makes a difference?
No, because I feel like it tastes very much like apple juicy. But still kind of, no, that's the Fireball.
The more I drink it, the more I'm less opposed to it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just trying to be nice at this point. We're trying to be nice.
Okay, anyways.
Okay.
Why are we here again?
We're on chapter 19, which opens up into this scene that is really interesting to me because we're talking about Feyre's love for painting. Mm-hmm. Because Tamlin shows her finally the gallery that he has. It's a gallery of art and it's beautiful. There's all different types of painting styles, and she says the breath was not from me.
And he says, I never knew that humans were capable of...
Which is another... ... backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Oh, you care about art?
Right. I also think it's kind of still showing him becoming almost enthralled.
Yeah, it's the
with
same
her.
story, like him like understanding like the humans aren't whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she loves looking at the art, obviously, and then she finally gets her painting supplies. But one of the questions that I have when we talk about Feyre in painting is like, how bad is she?
I think for someone who like loves it that much and seems to be like aware, and at least it seemed like she was doing it even though she didn't have like all the best paints in the world or
she had
everything.
Only primary colors.
Yes, but you can mix those.
But she doesn't have white and black.
Do they say that specifically? I think they do actually. But still, she's still been working at it, and I feel like a lot of it's natural. When I was young, just gonna bring it back to myself. I think I was like in grade 4, and I remember the teacher like saying to Mom, like, she's such a good artist, and seeing my like, I think it was like a manger scene, and I had like drawn like people with like hair and like facial features. Everyone else kind of had just like kind of sticky like things, and like no one taught me that. Mm-hmm. It was something I kind of figured out. So I like to think that since she like loves it so much and is passionate about it, that she's kind of always been doing it, and it's almost like honed it a little bit.
Like you're saying that there is a innate talent that some people have, that even if you haven't worked on it and you haven't had the opportunity to work on it, you still have that thing.
Yes. Or even if you're doing it sometime, like you can.
Because she has some sort of eye, because she looks at things a certain way, right?
Yes. Which I feel like is, see, but I also don't know, because I feel like I would look at things a certain way. Like with light, like being like photos, like
That's
I look
what I mean.
yeah, like looking, like I'm always like paying attention to how the light is on certain things, inside, outside. That's constantly something I'm always like aware of or looking at, kind of how she describes it in like different ways. So I think it's like that's always something I've been aware of. So I'm like,
and that feels normal to you, but like other people don't do that.
no.
Even how she's describing, like when, like the last episode we were talking about the glen that she went to when she was visiting the spring court.
Like, and she does those type of things, like the description and the feel she gets. Like she's super, super aware of it. Mm-hmm. So my hope is that yes, she is good, and that it's not just like these awful drawings. But then at the same time, I'm like, you see like 5-year-olds paint. And I'm like, I'd frame that. If you know.
It all depends on how you look.
Yes.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
It's true. But I would love to just actually see how, like, Sarah J. Maas
perceives her artistry. And like what the style of her artistry is.
Yes, because there is so many different ways. That's probably, like, one of the things I would most like to know. Even after reading all the books. Right. I'm like, I really would love to know this.
Yeah. Because Feyre points out, like, things that I think she comes to say this, like, things she would like to paint. Mm-hmm. Like, she is pumped up. Yeah. Right? Like, getting her painting supplies. She spends days and days. And
like, just inspired by things that she sees.
Every day painting.
I miss that feeling. It's a really good feeling.
I'm not a painter. I don't know.
Like different aspects of people's life, they get like passionate about things. So I just think having that passion for stuff and like excitement when you get into something like that. Yeah. Like these books.
I can get in front of a computer and write for 6 hours. Is that a long time?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. That is a very long time. I also
I'm not done yet.
Yeah. I like writing, but not 6 hours.
So Feyre, she's starting, like, when Tamlin goes away and he's fighting all these creatures that comes onto the land, she is starting to get worried, which just shows her care for him, right? Like, is that is growing. She's not just like, I don't care where you go. But she actually gives a shit now. Like,
what happens to him.
Right. She's having less nightmares. She's starting to feel less afraid, which pretty much just says, like, she trusts them more, that she believes that they're going to protect her. And also because obviously the Suriel said, like, that he'll keep you safe. Like, just stay with him. But what happens too, because she's painting all day, every day, these feelings start to come up where she feels...
Because it's kind of been like a few days, but we're not going through like everything daily.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what she's doing all day, every day, is painting. So, but these feelings start to crop up where she's like, oh, I haven't even thought about my family. I'm just sitting here.
Enjoying life.
And they're probably starving. Or, no, she knows that they're not starving at this point.
She knows at this point that they're like taken care of, but she's still
like, I haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also for her, she has been so used to worrying about other people. Yeah. That it's all of a sudden she's just enjoying herself and like having all this time for herself, where it's like she's kind of panicking, like, oh my God.
Right? Which speaks to, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, where they live life trying to make other people happy and content, and that's what makes them feel content. So when they try and make this effort to focus a little bit on themselves, it's debilitating, sort of. It's like you feel so much guilt, even though that's just like a normal thing to
you feel focus selfish on yourself. And
yeah. But I think she also feels upset because she knows that there's a blight, whatever the blight means. I feel like we just keep saying blight, and it's like, I don't even know what the blight means. And nobody really is clear with her about what the blight means, which is her frustration.
feel like that's minimum what she knows is
there's this thing.
The blight.
And she hasn't gotten a lot of answers about it. So she's mad at herself for that. Like, there's this thing and I can't, I want to know what's happening. I want to know what it is. I want to be able to tell my family. And I've been just sitting here painting all day, every day. How dare I? How selfish am I? Oh, you know what? I caught this quote too. She says, I was no better than the children of the blessed.
Children of the blessed.
It came back around. Children of the blessed. We knew you were coming back.
Yep.
But she says that because Tamlin, she kind of says that like Tamlin was a distraction, right? I've let myself be caught up in this man.
And caught up in this world.
Like the children of the blessed. Giving me all this good food, this good painting supplies, all these good things. This good life, right? Mm-hmm. I've gotten caught up in this. Like, that's what the children of the blessed do. They're not seeing it clearly. They're not seeing all the stuff that's happening in the world, and they're just focusing on something else. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is. I have nothing else to say on it, but it is interesting.
But she storms off. Like, she gets upset at one point. This is just like, we had been discussing Feyre's inner world and like what she was thinking about. So at some point she storms off when she had been with Tamlin because she's having all these inner thoughts, and he's like, hey, what's going on? But he doesn't want to go straight into it. He just follows her, and you know what? I'm going to give Tamlin props here because I think he's not just going like, hey, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong. He's going like, oh, hey, do you like the garden? This was a mating present from my father to my mother. And then he's like, you seem upset. So I was like, yeah.
It's good, Tamlin.
Good on Tamlin. He's into it.
Yeah.
Last confrontation. Feyre just kind of like feels overwhelmed and finally like confesses to him. Like, feels good enough with him that she says,
they didn't try to stop you from taking me.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a hard hit.
Yeah.
Like, especially I think like admitting that out loud. That about your family.
My family didn't fight for me, but she was always defending them, right?
Yeah. And I think like Tamlin's obviously aware of that, but for her to say that to him was a big step for her. So then as they're in the garden, Feyre grabs a rose and she stabs her hand with a thorn.
I don't think, not on purpose.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not mean it. Just takes it, stabs her hand.
And then he kisses her palm, and it heals the wound because he has his little Fey magic.
And I just love Court of Thorn and Roses.
Right?
Yeah. I feel like it, throwing that in a little bit in the book's nice.
And she says, why do any of this? Meaning like the things that he's done for her. And he says, your human joy fascinates me. The way you experience things in your lifespan so wildly and deeply and all at once. It's entrancing.
So I feel like when I read this, I was like, oh.
Is that a good O or a bad O?
Yeah. Like, it was like, oh, like, he's, like, loving her, or, And then now I'm like, oh. Like, it's almost like I feel like she's still like a human.
Spectacle?
Yeah, like, even just very, like, human to him still. Like.
Yes, but you know what? I'm on the positive side of this because I imagine being immortal, how things would dull. Things that are joy and exciting. After you've experienced it for hundreds of years or however long, it would become whatever.
Oh, I like this view. I feel like maybe the first time I read the book, this was the view I had.
It's like when people get rich, right? And after a while, you're just like, yeah, it's
not as exciting.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's seeing the world. It's like when people have kids. This is like, and they see the kids being like, oh, a lamp. Look at that lamp.
Okay, that is a very great comparison. Yes. Like it's you see the world through like someone else's eyes again. And exciting all of a sudden again.
Yeah.
Like, it not reassures, but just like almost like reinvigorates your, like, you for life.
Yeah.
Okay. Way better. Love that. Stay on that positive train.
I love this one. This next segment.
The limericks?
Yes. So the next morning, Feyre goes into the woods. Tamlin follows her, which seems a little creepy, but stay with us. Stay with us. She senses that someone's following her, so she makes a snare. So that same snare she got the cereal with, you know, that you can catch other things with. She is a huntress, so she knows. And you know what? She catches Tamlin, and this
I love that. Yeah.
To me. She catches him, and they both just think it's hilarious. And he obviously gets himself down because he's like big and powerful. And then there's the next part. Okay, wait for this. Like you don't already know.
Just you wait.
Just wait. That list of words that she threw in the garbage, of words that she was trying to figure out, that she was trying to read, he took those words and made limericks with them, and made sort of dirty limericks with them.
I like
but we haven't seen his playfulness as much.
No.
He's been pretty cold up until now, so to see the playfulness and him making these limericks was very funny. I wish that the Sarah J. Maas had wrote out all the limericks. I think she says a little bit, but
there is a little bit, but they're not all.
She just alludes to it getting dirtier.
Yeah, I want to hear all of it.
I want to know what he said. Anyway, they both loved it, and
it would be a good little love montage there.
And then after they have that laugh, they get to have this moment where Feyre learns a little bit more about his family. He explains, because when they were in the garden before,
talks about his parents and
how it was a mating present. So he clarifies, like, for Faye, being a mate goes beyond marriage. So you could be married to someone, meet your mate, and that just trumps it. Like, that is just something in another...
You are connected for life, whether you like it or not.
That is another galaxy. Like, being a mate versus marriage.
So it's he says, like, if they do get married, but if they're lucky enough to meet their mate, that's their equal in every way, and that the bond is so deep and insignificant.
And then we get to the sadder part, which is that Tamlin's father and two brothers were not nice people. So, there's this, you know what I love about Tamlin's story too, is because it is like a real family in the sense that, like, you have this nice story of his parents being mates, which feels really nice, and you can imagine that his father was, for someone to love another person and to be in a relationship, there has to be a part of themselves that comes out in that way. But then we see this really dark side of Tamlin's father, which I think is how a lot of people experience families, right? Families are complicated, people are complicated, and we don't like all sides of them. So I think we get to see the complicated nature of Tamlin's family. So his parents are mates, and that's wonderful, and they have this deep bond and blah blah blah, and then we get to learn that, like, Tamlin's father was also this person that hated humans and kept slaves.
Yeah.
Right?
So not great.
Right.
And treated them terribly.
Yeah. But Tamlin, like Lucien, did not want the title. Like, he was like, okay, brothers, like, you can have it. I don't care. And to keep the heat off himself, because as we know, like, Lucien's brothers came after him. He's like, you know what, I'm going to go become a warrior and, you know, be with the army and things like that. And that will make everybody get off my back and realize I really don't want to be the leader.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
But then we do find out that his family was killed by the High Lord of an enemy court. We don't know which one, but we do learn that. And then Tamlin was forced into...
Well, it was just like, everyone else is dead, so I guess Tamlin, you're it.
Yeah, you're up. Your turn.
That's that. They have that heart-to-heart, and they, you know, they get a walking back, and Feyre's like, what's all these fires? Why are there bonfires everywhere? And Tamlin's like, oh, those?
Didn't I tell you? He doesn't say that.
No, of course not. I'm only going to tell you if you ask. Yes. Or I'm going to wait till the very last second, which Tamlin, you're killing me.
True to Tamlin.
But he tells her that they're setting up for Callan Mai. Are we saying that right?
Ooh.
Do.
Callan Mai. Yeah, right? Didn't we look... Callan Mai? Callan Mai.
I'm not saying Callan Mai. That's cuckoo bananas.
How do you spell it again? Callan Mai. Callan Mai. Cal and May. Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
Pronounced Callan Mai or Fire Night is a ceremony held in Prythian which signals the start of spring.
I don't like it. Callan Mai?
Callan Mai.
Okay,
Callan
it's
Mai.
killing me, but I'll say it. Callan Mai. I want Callan Mai. I'll say Callan Mai. Okay, fine. Fine.
So
He explains that it's Callan Mai, or...
You don't need to accept.
or Fire Night, which... hence our cocktail for tonight.
Fireball, Fire Night.
Which was a huge success. If anyone asks, it was a huge success.
Yeah.
So it's also Fire Night, hence the fires. We know, or at least at this point, Tamlin tells her that the ceremony that generates magic to sustain the land for the year, and that she is not invited and to stay away.
Yeah, it's a very fairy ceremony or something like that, he says.
It'll be dangerous for her because there's fairies everywhere, which I understand.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, you waited till you were walking back and you're like, oh, those fires? Oh, yeah, no, we're having a party and you can't come.
Yeah. Really dangerous. Stay in your room. So as they enter the garden...
He says, get out of here. You get out of here. You hide. Go into that bush. Get out of here.
Very fast and very aggressively.
That's a direct quote of what he said.
And then, so Feyre hides. Lucien joins Tamlin. And they are, from what Feyre sees, facing an invisible person thing.
She can't see who they're talking to.
Yeah, no idea. But someone's there. She can feel it. Or
well, they're talking to someone. They're not talking to the air, right?
I hope not. It'd be really weird. But yeah, so they're talking about this mysterious woman, and I think this thing is threatening. Again, it's weird. Fairy things.
Basically, we don't know. Just like that scene where we overhear Tamlin and Lucia, we have no idea what they're referencing. They reference the mysterious woman again, and this thing is also like Tamlin. Basically, you are fearful. Like it senses Tamlin's fear, which seems to be new for him because Tamlin is, he's a cold-hearted
Lord
bitch, right? Like he is who he is. That's who he's usually is. So like sensing fear, this invisible thing is like, I see you, Tamlin. I see you getting scared and soft, right? Anyway,
he goes away.
That's it. That's all. And we are into
Callan Mai.
Chapter 20, Callan Mai, or as what I previously known it by, Callan Mai. Goodbye, Callan Mai. Hello, Callan Mai.
And Fire Night.
Night.
I like Fire
Night. Which is the same thing.
Yeah.
Feyre is stuck in the house. Wouldn't that be awful?
Yes.
You see the celebration going on. You're in this nice manner and you're just looking out your window. You see all these bonfires.
I would hate it. There was the bonfire. There's the drums. I'm like, it sounds like a party and a festival. I want to get dressed up and go dance and be there.
What?
Let's not break things.
What would you wear?
Ooh. I feel like I'll never not love a flower crown. Holds a really special place in my heart. So 100% flower crown.
Bury me in my flower crown.
Please, actually. And just hair down and flowing. I want to just be like a hippie at a festival. Kind of like loose dress, no undergarments.
I feel like that is a fire hazard at Fire Night. Your long hair and your flowing gown.
Well, it shouldn't be outside with drums. I feel like is the look that goes with it. Maybe not the flower crown because it's at night. But still flowing. I don't know. It's outdoor. Like you're in like a forest.
Just don't go near the fires. You're fine. No, you're fine. I want a Guy Fieri unitard.
Why?
And bare feet.
Bare feet, yes.
With wild hair.
Yeah, I like the wild hair. Just.
And maybe some like weird sunglasses with flames coming out of it.
Yeah, I like that.
With some dangly fire earrings.
You always do fashion better.
And maybe like half my head was red, half my head was orange. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm into it.
No, I love it. Okay.
Yeah. You would definitely stand out compared to me.
So Feyre goes.
Not in that look, but she does go. She feels compelled to go, and I think it talks about how like the drums are like almost calling to her.
Yeah.
So that's don't keep a girl down.
Tamlin, okay, let's be clear though, because before Tamlin leaves for this, he like comes out shirtless and he has I think he has a weapon on him. He's like ready to go. Like,
yeah,
he's like,
right?
what the
Seems
hell
like
is
a party.
happening? And he's like, lock your room.
Yeah.
Stay in your room.
You need to lock the door. Don't leave.
She's like, whoa, okay.
So she goes.
So she goes anyway, of course.
Obviously. Just fairies everywhere. And not all of them have masks.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing too. We've talked about the mask that Tamlin and Lucian wear. So now we have people who don't have the mask. So what is that about? Yeah,
so there is, fairies there without them. She stops near the mouth of the cave.
Yeah, so there's this cave and it's decorated. But then she gets stopped by 3 fairies who are... I don't know if it says they're scary looking. I interpret it as they're scary looking because they are...
A bunch of scary looking men fairies is what I pictured.
They're cornering her. They're like, oh, we're going to have fun tonight. Yeah. What are you doing here? Anyway,
found a human.
They have bad intentions. And she's like, get away from me, get away from me. And then suddenly someone puts their arm around her and those 3 fairies go away. They're like, we're out of here.
No. I think he says something to them.
Yeah.
But doesn't really matter.
But she, in her head, looks at the guy that basically made these fairies go away and thinks this is the most beautiful man I've ever seen. Imagine.
Yeah, I want that to happen to me every day.
Oh, hi. Which brings us to chapter 21. Who is this man?
Who just scared 3 fairies away in like 2 seconds.
Well, he's got a...
There's something.
Yeah, if he's able to do that. But she describes a stranger as having dark hair, violet eyes. Is that a thing?
Yeah, if you're fairy.
Okay, but in the real world, that's not a thing, right?
I don't know. No.
Okay. Just.
I mean, if you have violet eyes, please, I'd love to see them.
Yeah, but he has no mask, so she's like, okay, you're not part of the spring court. Or
well, he says something like around those lines, and he kind of laughs, like, do I look like I'm part of the spring court?
But he's like, oh, I can escort you to where you need to be, and she's like, no. She
He kind of asked her like a couple more questions.
She like engages with him a little bit, but then she's like, okay, I don't trust anybody here. I need to get away from you. And so he leaves her alone and she moves on. But then Lucian sees her. Yeah. He's like, what are you doing here?
Lucian is pissed.
What are you doing? Oh, this is a fun part for me though, because He's
never moved faster.
He picks her up and he runs back to the house, which he is high fae, so his run is like a super...
Think of like...
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Edward Cullen running through the forest in Twilight. That fast.
What you mean is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Or that. Either character. Think of them. So Lucian brings her back and he kind of explains a bit more.
Which Tamlin should have explained.
Yeah.
But Lucian gives more detail.
Much more.
There's this magic that is going to enter his body and makes him need to seek out what's called the maiden, and they need to couple, and it'll regenerate the magic to renew life. And this feeds the land, feeds the magic for the rest of the year.
Yes, but when he's seeking out the maiden, it's like he's not
himself.
Yes, and like that's his one goal in his mind is to find this maiden. He's like under a spell, like has to hunt her down type of thing.
But there's women basically lined up like near the cave, and it's like an honor kind of, right? Like he needs to find, once he's in the state, he finds that woman, and they, what do you call him?
What do you call him, or what do you call what they do?
What they do. I was going to say make
Sex.
love, but it's doing the deed.
Yeah. Yeah, doing the deed. Sex.
Is that an old person saying?
Doing the deed is 100%
okay.
an old person saying.
And then Feyre's like, what? But there's lots of men there too. And Lucian's like, yeah, well, I mean, like he's like the main guy.
Yeah.
But like once that part of the ceremony is done, like other people are also gonna get
joining
down.
in, you know, to just renew the magic. That's why they're doing it. Just a big orgy. Good for them. See, sounds like a party.
But he's like, you're lucky, like that Hamlin didn't scent you because he would have chosen you. That's why he wanted you to hide. But like, give her that info.
Yeah, really could have known that. So tells her to go to her room again.
And she does. And then eventually, you know, I don't know if she sleeps in it, but she stays in her room. The drumming stops, the fire stops, and she's just like, okay, I'm kind of hungry. I'm going to wander, down and get a snack, which she does. She's eating. Just eating her snack and going. Wandering the halls. Num, num, num. Oh, Tamlin appears.
I enjoy this part, personally. Like, yeah.
He pushes her against the wall and he bites her neck.
She slaps him, but like she's into it at the same time.
Well, yeah. She has this realization like, oh, I'm into this. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Like, but I don't mind you kind of this close and...
But also get away from me. It's this, Yeah.
I think she realizes, oh, yeah.
Right. And which I love what happens next where, you know, she has this bruise on her neck the next day, and instead of being embarrassed and covering it with something, she lets it be. And she's like, no, you did this.
Yeah. I'm going to come down and I'm going to display that you were this man Faye last night and bit my neck.
She doesn't say that. She just like, no, I'm not going to be embarrassed. You did this thing. You should be embarrassed.
I don't feel like either of them should be embarrassed, personally.
And Tamlin's just like, no, it's your fault. You were supposed to stay in your room. And then Feyre is like, you're fairy pigs. And she storms out. So I think this scene is like, it's lighthearted. Like, Tamlin, I feel like he gets it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's truly, like, skirting responsibility. He, like, in some sense he is. He's like, I told you to stay in your room. But, like, you didn't tell her everything.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just her calling them fairy pigs is hilarious.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, we get this idea that they've apologized to each other. And Tamlin sends her a bouquet of flowers.
Oh. Special moment. But so he apologizes. Good job, Tam. I like you more for this whole scene, really.
Okay, but I feel like we're like up until these chapters, like they are realizing that maybe they're attracted to each other or that they are connecting with each other. So there's this weird middle ground where like we're not together. Yes. I need to go do this thing that I would usually do if you're not here, and now you're here. So coming back to like why he wouldn't tell her about Kel and May, it makes sense now.
Yes.
I was forgetting about that part, right?
Yes, that's a very good point.
he probably didn't want to tell her because he doesn't want to be like, hey, I'm going to go have sex with
Yeah.
someone else. Okay? Stay in your room.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay.
See you at breakfast.
Yeah. But it's also like the connection has not been spoken, so it's also...
Which I feel like then that kind of just with the hall interaction, that kind of broke that.
Right.
To be like, okay, we're into it.
Right. Chapter 22. Love what happens next, because I want to say love, but I'm not, you don't have to wear a dress, but I think this is a scene where Feyre finally puts on a dress and, wants to look feminine and pretty. So, like, you don't have to do that, but it's just a scene where she finally feels like, oh, I can be this thing.
Yeah.
I can be this side of myself.
Yeah, I can explore these other side of myself.
Yeah.
I don't need to be this one thing that I've always been.
Right. And so she comes down for dinner. She's in a dress, and Lucian's like, I'm out of here. And immediately leaves Feyre and Tamlin alone. And Feyre's like, oh, you're so far away. Because the table that they usually sit in,
It's like a big dining table.
Yeah,
right?
Tamlin, Lucian, and Feyre usually have dinner together every night, and it's a big dining table. So as soon as she says that, Tamlin magically changes the table to a smaller size, bringing them closer together. So it's a one-on-one thing. And I was like, oh, it's a date. Okay.
I would love that. Just saying. She kind of questions him a little about magic there, and he said, right, something like that used to be a lot easier for me to do.
Because, to clarify, because of the blight, Tamlin's powers are not in full force, that they've been muted, so doing these things are a little bit more tiresome. But anyway, they have this nice date dinner thing, and Feyre's like, let me show you my paintings, which is such an intimate, vulnerable moment, because up until this point she's been painting, and she
has a lock for the door. Nobody's allowed to see in there. So for her to open just that space up to him,
how vulnerable is that as someone who does artist things?
Very. Which I even find with photos, which I've talked to other photographers about, that we always worry with people liking them or not liking them, that it is also such an art thing. So if someone's unhappy, it's almost like we take it so much more personally.
Yeah.
Because you do put a bit of yourself into everything you make or create. But even just painting wise, I feel like that's even almost a bigger thing.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Yeah. I feel like that's a huge thing to let someone see that and let someone in like that when she's obviously has so many to kind of present, but that she's been creating, and she's with her work, I feel, really putting her life experience into it.
Yeah, because she shows she wants to give him a picture of the glen, the glen that they swam in. Mm-hmm. That was the starlight. That's the painting that she wants to show him and give to him as a present. But he starts to notice all these other paintings that she's made. So where she grew up in her house, this roll in the hay with Isaac.
It's their hands.
Yeah.
And I think she said something he looked a little jealous at first when asking.
Yeah, but realizes that was, a meaningful time in her life, that she needed that. And also, her dad being attacked. Mm-hmm. And then there was this painting of her in the woods. So, this brings it back to the very first scene where she was in the woods hunting. But there is a painting that she made where she was in the woods and hunting. Basically that scene, not necessarily that scene, but one of many that she was off on her own. And Tamlin connects to that painting so much more and says, I want that one. And I think he doesn't say this explicitly, but part of their connection is feeling alone, right? Feeling other, feeling separate from their families. And he's feeling oh, you get that.
You understand that.
You get that experience of being other.
And just kind of, having that other person that really understands
that feeling. Yeah. So he said, I want that painting.
Which I love that. I love that choice that he made.
Yeah. And she's like, I want to help. Like, with this blight, she's still feeling fearful about it. She keeps bringing it up. And he's like, I don't want you to, like, go somewhere else. I want you to be here. I want to know that you're safe. Keep you safe, basically. And that's the first night that Feyre in the house sleeps with her door unlocked. And at first I was like,
big thing.
I was like, does she want him to come in? But I think it's actually, like...
She feels safe.
Yeah, she just feels safe.
Yeah. That's immediately... what I thought. I was like, okay, she finally feels safe and like comfortable and like this is her place now where I can leave this unlocked and I don't need to worry about anything. Not anything, but so yeah, that's a big moment for her. I feel like that whole the painting, the dress, the not locking the door. Big chapter for her.
Chapter 23. So the next day, Tamlin and Feyre keep on exploring the spring court and the lands that he has, which are so beautiful. And
I love this part.
Okay, then you go.
I just think it's like so sweet. So I feel like you're better at describing things. Okay, you're gonna do it, and then I'm just gonna comment because it just.
So they're both just like enjoying the outdoors, and I believe they're under this like beautiful tree, and Tamlin wants for her to sense the land in a real way, which she doesn't understand at this point that she really hasn't. So he says to her, for the price of a kiss, I'll show you how I perceive these lands through my senses, basically. And he kisses her eyelids.
Okay, that's the part I loved.
But she thinks that he's gonna go in for a kiss.
Yeah, and then he kisses her eyelids.
She's finally like, okay, yeah, give me a kiss, and then he kisses her eyelids. But it's still cute. But what happens is she starts to sense the world in a different way. So she is enjoying the sounds and what she sees.
Everything's just like enhanced.
Different. Everything is more clear. The singing birds, she says, become an orchestra. The magic isn't like metal anymore. It smells like flowers. And basically what's happened is the glamour we've already understood.
That he did on her family.
He has also put a glamour on her. So she has not seen his world fully. So now Or him fully. She starts to see him in a different way. And everything around him in a different way. And she says, like, this is how I've imagined him. She tries to take off the mask in that moment and it doesn't work. I don't know why. It's stuck.
Right, the mask will come off now, no?
But they kind of talk about what he would look like, too.
Yeah, it was, and just, like, how she imagines it.
That she wants to see his face.
Yeah. I just, even, like, the moment where he, like, kissed her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It was such, like, a young love moment. Like, I'm like, I felt butterflies for them. I'm like, oh, that's such like a exciting feeling. I loved it.
Chapter 24. So this kind of continues where Feyre realizes that she has already realized she's had a glamour, but now she starts to see the whole house in a different way.
It's hilarious, but not. Because all of a sudden you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm. So, for instance, Alice, who has been with her every day, helping her get ready and dressed and bathed and taking care of her, she's like, who are you?
Yeah. Where's Alice?
Yeah.
This woman's just in my room.
Yeah. And so Alice doesn't look like Alice because Alice is a certain type of fairy who has like
tree bark skin.
Yeah, like her skin looks like tree bark, basically. So she looks very different than what she looked like with the glamour on, which is off-putting.
Yeah, that would be so weird. But as a reader, super exciting. She starts to like go downstairs and then all of a sudden sees fairies everywhere.
There's a lot more people that work in the house that she didn't realize. So there's a lot of different fairies that are servants and people that take care of the house, that are taking care of the garden that she wouldn't normally have seen, that were invisible to her, and now she sees them. And she's like,
I've been walking around this entire time thinking I was alone in the hallways, looking like just doing whatever.
I would be so mad.
Yeah, I'd be mortified. I'd be like, oh my God, I was just...
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm like, oh, that would just be... It would be a lot. And then we also remember in way beginning chapters when she first got there, she had sworn she like saw something out of the corner of her eye or like something.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
It's that.
Yeah.
There was, some sort of fairy beside her, but she couldn't really see
she heard laughing or something.
Yeah.
So one mystery solved.
The reason that she's able to not get so angry at him like I am is because she's like, okay, if I saw all these fairies in the house and all these different types of fairies, like all of these, beings that I've not been used to living in the human realms, I probably would have freaked out. So that 100% makes sense to me. So now Tamlin was like, okay, you're feeling good enough that this is slowly becoming your home, sort of. She hasn't said that, but senses that you are good enough that I can show you this now. That you're comfortable enough that I can show you this. So it's like, it's deceiving, but you also understand it.
Yes, because it would have been terrifying. He still could have given her a heads up that, by the way, when you wake up, a bunch of people walking around.
Right? In the very least, like, hey, Alice is not going to look like Alice.
Yeah, she actually will look like a tree.
Oh, you're killing me, Tamlin. Okay. And he explains to you, like, the things like the Suriel, the Naga, the Puka, you could see those things because those are not Spring Court people. It was just Spring Court people that she was... that
were hidden from her.
Yeah.
So the next morning, Feyre is just going out to paint.
Going for a stroll.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice spring morning in the Spring Court. And she comes up to a high phase head in the fountain. Just a bloody old head.
Okay, this is off-putting. I feel like talking about a decapitated head in a nonchalant way is very strange, but...
It's fake.
It's a story.
Yeah, just a tale.
It's branded with the Night Court mark. So Lucian explains that, obviously someone from the Night Court did it. That the Night Court is a little bit different from the other courts in the sense that it...
like, this is just supposed to be a prank type of feeling.
Yeah, or to intimidate, right? Like, it's a message that they're sending. Yeah. That they can put a decapitated head in their garden.
Yeah.
Even though Tamlin has all these precautions around his
protections.
land. They can so easily do this. Like, it's a intimidation. Yeah.
Sound like a fun gang.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tamlin just reassures Feyre, like, you're good, girl.
Still safe. Keep that door unlocked. Casting call.
Look, I got our theme song in the middle. You don't have to keep making your own. You know what? Keep making your own theme song. That's fine. That's fine.
I've been told I have a beautiful voice.
I've told you several times you have an awful voice.
Yeah, your daughter has also told me to not sing, so...
Her voice... Look, I hope she's not listening to this, but it's similar to yours.
I said she is a lot like me. She has inherited a lot of my gifts. Okay, so casting call.
Our casting call, I basically just proposed to Jamie, like, is there recasts? Because we don't have any new characters that would require casting.
So, I feel like I still need to, like, explain my Nesta a bit more.
Okay, get into it.
I said, like, Alana Glazer, but it's like, I feel like it's like her, but like a mix of like a young Sandra Bullock, but also like the girl from Dirty Dancing a little bit with the hair. I really see people like different in my mind.
You can give Sandra Bullock a perm.
100%.
Okay, is it Sandra Bullock with a perm?
Yeah, like a Dirty Dancing perm.
Okay, then that's it.
But I also want to say that sometimes when I'm reading books, which I just thought, do you not ever like see yourself when you're reading? Like picturing yourself as that character? No?
Blank stare.
No? See, that's where I'm like, I see, like, it's like I'm half.
Who are you?
When I'm like reading like the main character person.
Are you Feyre?
But I'm not. Like, it's like, I find it really hard to explain, where it's like kind of someone else, but then I kind of like see me.
Well,
because I want to be the main, what is it?
No. It makes sense. I don't see like my face in that person. Like I don't see myself walking around doing those things, but I feel like a deeper connection to the main character as I'm following their journey.
Yes.
With them, as if I'm like a leech on their back.
Yes. I still like, nice way to put in my head, I still see like, it's almost like part of my face or something.
You're a part of them going, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I had never done how you said, like putting the actor, which makes sense once you explain that to me. But I was like always with the main person. That was how I kind of did it. So I think that's why originally, like Feyre, I was like, I didn't really have anyone for.
You are Feyre.
Mm-hmm. But also Nesta.
Can we recast you as Feyre?
No, because I feel like I also see it in Nesta. So
you're a little bit Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to save that combo though, because we are eventually going to go back and see that family and
surprise.
Let's get into MVP. Who do you think?
Oh, jeez. You know, I'm going to let you go first.
Is it because you don't know?
I don't know, and I totally forgot that I need an MVP. So,
as a previous episode Tamlin hater, I'm so embarrassed to say that Tamlin is my MVP. Oh, I hate it. I hate me. I hate myself. I hate Tamlin, but he is my MVP. He is a emotionally distant man who has a heart of ice, and he is melting it. He is.
He really is. He sent flowers.
I
kissed her eyelids.
I sense that he is trying to resist it in some sense, which I think allows me to make this MVP award to him, is because I do sense that he is hesitant, but that his emotions are driving him to do otherwise, which compels me to give this to him. I think he is moving with his emotions and not his head, which I want for him.
Yay.
Do it, Tam. Do it.
Woo!
You're doing it. And you don't want to do it, but you're doing it. So good for you.
So my MVP is the maiden that got to have sex with Tam Tam.
Oh, okay.
Good for her. You know, she helped with the magic of the land. Mm-hmm. She got to sleep with a hot man.
Well, they do describe it as an honor. Like,
yeah, it's an honor. There's ladies lined up.
I think it's Lucian who describes it. Like, whoever is chosen, like, it's an honor to do that for to
give back to the magic of the land. So, yeah, she wins. Good for you. You got to hang out with the drums and the fire.
I mean, it seemed like a fun party, and I was there with
Still
my
jealous.
fire unitard, if you didn't see me. I don't know if you saw me. Jamie
was burning my hair in the fire.
Caftan lit on fire. I don't know if you saw that, but, you know,
so
you were
embarrassed.
Probably distracted by all the getting it on.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Great
over
party.
in the corner.
Dancing and burning.
Oh, okay, bye.
Bye.